Welcome to the Black and Gold channel. You with your host, Dr. Perry Kyles. Today's topic, Kemet, means black state, not black lands. We're going to start by showing you how the Kemetic people wrote the name of their country in hieroglyphs. There were various names used. The most common name, what appears to be the most formal name, is the name Kemet. On the left of the image, you see a Tekken, what the Kemetic people refer to as Tekken. Today, most of us refer to this as an obelisk. This particular obelisk was taken from the Luxor temple and is now in France. This Tekken was given away by Ali Pasha, who is considered to be the father of modern Egypt. He gave this away to the French, and on the right side, you see just beneath the, and here we'll read from the left to the right. We see just beneath the owl what is a charred piece of wood or a charred piece of charcoal. I'll show you this in greater detail in a moment. In the middle, you see an owl. At the right top, you see what appears to be a semicircle, but that is a loaf of bread. And just beneath that loaf of bread, you'll see a circle. They generally wrote to create a word in a nicely contained symmetric square. That's usually what they were looking to accomplish. But once this name is sounded out, Kemet, combined with the determinative, which is the road, the crossroad inside, this word is black country or black state or black nation state, not black lands. May I show you today? The sound Kem in the word Kemet is created by the hieroglyph that you see on the screen. I know it as a piece of wood that's charred on the end. Many other people know it as a piece of charcoal that is charred on the end. Nonetheless, if you see this in vivid color, on the left side, there will be char, as in something burnt or blackened. This hieroglyph is the Kemetic word for black, as in the color black. It makes the sound Kem. That's two sounds. The linguists refer to this sound as a biliteral, literally two sounds. Okay. The next sound in the word Kemet is ma. Now here we have this sound repeated. We have it in the word Kem, then we have it again with the single sound ma. And this sound is used in both parts of the word, Kem as well as met, as you will see. Now it's important that this sound is created with the owl. Even when they are simply phonetic sounds, there's a long history behind them. And the owl is associated with wisdom, darkness, and importantly, the afterlife. For example, in the tomb of Amenhotep III, there is a Beyonce owl that is buried with him. So the owl is an amulet that was used to bring about something good to protect you on that journey from this realm into the hall of Maati. So the second sound in the word Kemet, ma. The third sound in the word Kemet is the T sound. The hieroglyph on the left is a loaf of bread, which is used to create the T sound. The T at the end of a word is usually used to feminize the word. So it's Kemet in the sense that we would think of our country, something to be nurtured. An example of the way T would be used to feminize a word is in ancient Egyptian folklore and spirituality. There was a gnome back in Kemet named Khmunu, and Khmunu had a creation story that was based 8 deities. And that folklore, there were 2 of 8 deities. Those 2 were named Amen and Amenet, hidden and manifest, used to show completeness or wholeness. So you see the charred wood, Kem, the owl, ma, the loaf of bread, ta, Kemet. The circle to the bottom right, that should not be articulated. It's what we call a determinative or a clarifier, which is used to clarify the word before it, to clarify the category of the word. Is it a common noun? Is it a family of common nouns? Is it an action? Is it a proper noun? When we see it, it clarifies the country, the nation that it's being referred to, in this case, Kemet. But one thing that it doesn't do, it doesn't clarify, it doesn't suggest in any way they were thinking about mud, silt, or had any consideration for mud or silt in the creation and articulation of this name. I'm going to follow up on two really important points. Stay with me. There's a really important couple of important points that need to be made. The first, there is no evidence for the Black Lands claim. This is from thin air in the 19th century, but it doesn't mean Black lands at all. There is zero evidence to suggest that it means Black lands. There's one other important piece of information that I'd like to share with you. There were about at least 7 different determinatives for land, irrigated area, settled area. If they were simply referring to something that's mundane, common noun, and were thinking about the features of this land, they would have used one of these other determinatives, not something to denote a proper noun. And I can show you this very clearly. They didn't use any of the determinatives related to land, silt, irrigated land, settled area to describe their country. They used an extraction, something that's used to show a proper noun. The Kemetic people meant Black country, Black nation state, Black nation. I want to show you now that there were several better candidates than a crossroads determinative to create the name Black lands. If they wanted to create the name Black lands, they would have done that as opposed to creating the name Black nation. I'm going to show you. On the top left, at the very top, the little bar at the top, that is a hieroglyph, and it's to create the sound ta. It's the hieroglyph at the top with the 3 little dots. It's also connected with it. They are together. They create one word, the word ta. Ta means land. Just beneath it to the right, what appears to be a squiggly line, that is a bow in the sense of a bow and arrow. These 2 hieroglyphs together create the name Ta Seti. Ta, land. Then you have the bow, that word, Seti, land of the bow. Ta Seti, we have seen it written before Narmer united the 2 lands. We've seen it written, suggested that it was a nation state at that time. Just beneath Ta, that loaf of bread, it is not enunciated in this word. It is written this way at the Whitechapel and the Karnak Temple in what is today Luxor in Kemet. If you've been to the Karnak Temple, write it in the comments. Tell me what you thought about the Karnak Temple. This word, Ta Seti. Ta Seti was the very first nome of Kemet. So it went from being in the area of what is today Sudan, the first nome, the first Sapat, Ta Seti. So it went from being a nation state to being the very first nome, first Sapat of Kemet's 42. As written at the White Temple in Luxor, you see it written with this T. As I mentioned earlier, the T in this case is not vocalized, but the T represents a place. Beneath it is a determinative for a common noun that we've seen used to convey land. We also see this particular determinative at the bottom used to convey an island. Now, why would Ta Seti ever be written with the determinative for an island? It's because the capital of the nome of Ta Seti is the island of Elephantine. On the right, we see the same name, Ta Seti. We see it written with a different determinative. This is plotting of lands, plotting a canal. The Kemetic people use canal in the same way that we use roads today. This particular hieroglyph, the determinative, is suggesting that it's a well-trafficked place. It's a part of a settled area. When the Kemetic people were referring to mud, if they were thinking Black lands, they would have used one of these determinatives or one of another 4, 5, 6, 7 determinatives that they could have used to convey the land or the topography of the land, be it mud or whatever. But instead, used to convey a proper noun. That proper noun, that determinative that they were using to clarify that they mean a city, state, or nation, that in the case of Kemet, a nation state, that determinative has crossroads in the middle. However, if it was simply about the road, they would have used a determinative similar to this one. This denotes a road with shrubs alongside it. Perhaps a canal, an area where roads and canals are in close proximity. It could also mean a road or a canal taken as a part of a religious ceremony. If we want to convey that in the Kemetic language, we would use a hieroglyph similar to this one on the screen. When the Kemetic people used this crossroads determinative here on the left, they were thinking a political entity and an abstraction. Just to give you an example, I'm from the United States. Now, before the United States was established, you had so many different Native American peoples and countries. The United States came, took all of that over, and now we think of that as the United States. But let's just say someone comes to the U.S. and they are a country, they colonize part of the U.S., or a part of the U.S. breaks off and becomes its own country. They're going to change the name, and they are going to think of that name not just simply as related to the topography, even though that topography may be used to describe it. They are going to refer to it as a political entity, and that is how the Kemet people use this particular determinative as a city, a state, or a nation. When you look on the right side, there are many determinatives similar to these in the sense that they are used to describe the topography of the place. So there is an important distinction to be made. There is no evidence to suggest that the Kemetic people meant black lands as opposed to black state. I haven't said anything in this presentation that is brilliant or novel. I've only said things that were obvious. So why all of the confusion? Why the spamming of the whole black lands claim? The reason for that is to create confusion, to create misdirection, to divert you from the reality that the Kemetic people thought of the name of their country as black state, black nation, not black lands. That's a simple reference to the topography, to the mud that they certainly would not have used to convey the name of their country. The confusion is created by design. Now, one thing I'll ask you to do if you've stuck around this far, thank you very much. There is a book that I have written and revised, Kemet 101. It's available with colored images. It will clarify what I've said today, along with many other details related to the history, religion, culture of Kemet. Click the link and buy that book for yourself. To the right there, you see me conducting field research. This book is related to the field research that I've conducted throughout modern Egypt related to Kemet. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and keep in mind, we are in a new age. We're in the age of Aquarius. Now, the age of Aquarius in general is one big spamming of information. However, that's going to call for some discernment to clarify to yourself which is logical, which makes sense. So use your gift of intuition, use your higher mind, do that in relationship to the subject matter, and you will clearly come to the realization that Kemet means black nation, black state, and certainly not black lands. Thank you, and